by Eddy. Darnell Nurse left it in the corner. Getzlaf center. Eddy scoops. Holy Eddy.
Million in the takeaway from Solani. Skip away to Solani. Run in front. Score! Tamo Solani with the steal.
Hey everybody, we're back and we're live. It's the Forever Mighty post-game show. I got Eddy smiling at the end of the camera here. It's just Pat and Eddy tonight. Jason is out playing beer league in I don't know, some very important game where he had to miss this incredible game here tonight.
Somehow more important than this.
Pull off like a ridiculous third period. This game was actually amazing from start to finish. Without the, there's a little blemish there in the second period, but honestly, man, what a great feeling to see the Ducks clean up and beat the Stars 6-3 tonight.
Just a crazy game because it was all over the place. Great first period, just a crap most of the second period except for the end, and then ridiculous. Probably, I guess, the Ducks' best third period of the season. Washington maybe might be better, but it's close. It was still just a great game.
A dominant performance, in my opinion, all around. I mean, the Ducks take some dumb penalties in the second period, and that cost them. That cost them the second period, which we'll get to here in a few. But, I mean, they outchanced the Stars. They outshot the Stars. They obviously outscored the Stars. A much better performance than the last time we saw the Ducks play this team. So, very, very happy with this. Strange to see the Ducks are 7-1 in their last 8. Hashtag Fire Carlisle has not surfaced its face in quite some time. And as we discussed in the last show, Eddy, I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. And This is just more proof that Carlisle is staying. But I don't think it really has a whole lot to do with him. What do you think?
Yeah, we've talked about this before. I don't think it's... you can't exclude him completely, but it's a very minuscule percentage, I think, that involves his benefit. The Ducks have scored, I think they said 22 goals in their last 5 games, which is a complete flip of how they were playing at the beginning of the season, just barely scoring over 2 goals per game. Now we're at over 4 in the last 5 games. Don't really know what's changed, to be honest. It's been little things and just guys getting hot. Montour the last 2 games, 6 points. Kase the last 2 games, 6 points. Hat-trick tonight. Guys are just starting to play well. Silverberg, we criticized him before 4 games ago. And now he's scored a goal in each of the last 4 games. So it's just guys stepping up. The offense is starting to come from the guys we're expecting it to. And this is still without Rakell in the lineup. So interesting to see what happens when he gets back, whenever he does.
And without Corey Perry, sir. You forget about one of the greatest Ducks of all time.
That's just
not in the lineup still.
At this point, because he's basically not going to be in the lineup all year.
At least not till March-ish, right?
Yeah,
and I buried the lead there. The big talk of the night is Ondrej Kase getting his first career hat trick.
Yep.
I mean, what a game by Kase. He's incredible, man. Like I told you last night, or I think it was I told you either over text or I told you in the last show. It's like, do I get a Lindholm jersey? Who's my boy? And I've always been there, and like I've always rooted for the guy. And everyone always gives me a hard time for they say I ride his jock. I'm some fanboy, but Ondrej Kase is totally just stealing my attention over here on the left-hand side of my face. I just kind of have to keep looking over and be like, man, guy's pretty damn good and exciting to watch. We should get his jersey too. Just get both, right?
Yeah, just get both.
With all the free money I have. Yeah, just it's good. And I'll go to Cool Hockey to do it. So
yeah, there you go.
Might as well.
20% off.
We got some. Yeah, I knew. Hey, man, it's not a bad idea, honestly. But getting into the beginning of this game, the Ducks found out some bad news about Ryan Miller. We'll get to the effects of that, but he's gone at least 6 weeks, could be longer, with a sprained MCL. And so the Ducks, without the services of backup Ryan Miller, John Gibson starts in net. Rakell's still out. Getting into this game, you got to get right to it because there wasn't a lot of chances in the beginning of this game until all of a sudden Ondrej Kase decided to put one on goal, huh? I mean, in the beginning of the game was pretty boring. First 5-6 minutes, kind of everyone, I think the Stars had one chance in front Is it Hanley cut to the crease on a really weird passing play by the Stars, but Gibby made the save. But, right, I mean, we didn't really miss too much.
No, it's like 7 total shots until Ondrej Kase scored, and none of them were really high danger scoring chances anyway. So it didn't really. I think it took a little bit for things to pick up. These two teams are pretty different since the last time the Ducks and the Stars faced off, where it was. I mean, I guess it followed a similar script this time. Obviously, better for the Ducks, but yeah, they're a different look to both of these teams that I think they're just trying to feel themselves out a little bit.
It was a very uncharacteristic, dominant first period here by Anaheim. Ondrej Kase with the goal on, I don't know what in the hell Babe Ruther was doing at the side of the Dallas Stars net, collects the puck, sends it in front of the net for absolutely no reason to absolutely nobody, and it gets picked up by Aberg. Aberg feeds a perfect pass. It happened just so fast, and Kase was able to collect the puck in his feet, still elevate it and get it by, 12'10", Ben Bishop sitting in net, not able to get over, and all of a sudden it's 1-0 Ducks.
It's a great play by Pontus Aberg, and again, it comes to the fact that he just has, at times, game-breaking offensive ability. He fakes the slap shot, drags it around the defender, throws it, a perfect pass across to Kase, who doesn't one-time it. Takes it in stride, which was interesting choice, and then fires it in over Ben Bishop, who was kind of leaning a bit forward. But yeah, I mean, Pontus Aberg, can't say enough about that guy. We talked about last show how he could possibly be not just the Ducks' best waiver pickup ever, but maybe the best waiver wire pickup, and that's said without doing a lot of research on my part to really look at who some of the best waiver pickups are. But, I mean, yeah, he just continues to make plays, whether it's putting the puck in the back of the net or making a pass like that. And then Ondrej Kase as well just continues to play great. He's up to 14 points now after tonight's game in his first 15 games.
He's absolutely killing it. And obviously tonight he killed it as well. Play goes on here for a bit in the first period. Not a lot going either way. A really awkward play happens with Ben Bishop, though. This can't go unnoticed. You got Kiefer Sherwood flying in with the Dallas defender on his back. Bishop, the puck's ahead of Sherwood. He comes like 15 feet outside of his crease, covers the puck. Everyone's waiting, thinking there's going to be a whistle, right? On rushing Sherwood. I mean, at least I thought for like a split second it was going to be a whistle.
Yeah.
Bishop decides to play football he's a center in the NFL and just flick the puck between his legs out to nobody. It gets deflected, almost winds up in his own net. Like, what the hell are you thinking, Bishop? Like,
it was
some of the ballsiest moves I've seen there by a goaltender.
I don't get it. I
guess why?
He didn't see Sherwood, I guess. He must not have. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done it. I think he just thought most of the Ducks went for a line change and that the only Duck player furthest ahead was the guy who took the shot. And so he's like, whatever, I'll throw it behind to my defense. Maybe we'll get a rush going up the ice. And Ben Bishop's not a guy who's afraid to handle the puck. He's a guy on a regular basis that is a guy who pretty much any puck goes behind the net, he's going to skate out there and try and play it. And I guess that was his thinking in this one, is he's going to try and get a rush going up the other way. What would have been even better if he threw it between his legs and deflected off like Sherwood into the net. Because you look at Sherwood's goal in the last game, it deflects in off Stefan Nason. And for a goal like this, where Bishop just hikes it between his legs, and if it had hit off Sherwood and went in, that would have just been probably the most ridiculous 2 goals to score back-to-back for a player in NHL history.
And we were all hoping it would have, right? I mean, we were sitting there thinking that puck's got to find its way in the front of the net and then go in at that point. But luckily for Bishop, it's able to stay out. Moving on here along the first period, I mean, we kind of get out of it here. It's an unreal, dominant first period for Anaheim. They outshoot the Stars 15-5. That's not something we see very often here. The Stars are top heavy. They're a high-powered offense. They got guys that can burn you, and the Ducks were able to contain them. And it was a very, very promising start to a game.
It was. I mean, the Ducks don't often outshoot teams in general after the first period, and especially this season. And for a team like the Stars, who just have firepower throughout their entire lineup, especially the first line in Ben Sagan and Radulov, for the Ducks to come out of this one up 15-5 in shots. great effort. Probably deserved to be up maybe more than 1-0, especially with some of the chances they got late in that game. And like we talked about, Ben Bishop throwing it between his legs and it almost resulting in a goal. The Ducks probably could have come out of that period up 2 or 3-0. But hey, I mean, anytime you can come out with a lead and you're playing pretty well, it looked good going into the second. Foreshadowing a bit, unfortunately, it didn't turn out that great.
No, I mean, the second period has just been the typical Anaheim period of just bad news. And we'll get to that right now here. Slow start for both teams. It's kind of like in the first period, a little slow at the gate. Lindholm takes a high sticking penalty, and then the Ducks just get hemmed in for a long time on in their own zone.
Yeah.
And it was a chance for the Stars in front of the net that was thwarted there by Brandon Montour. Ducks would tap it wide. It would go all the way back out to Heiskanen, and he was able to wire that off the post and in. I mean, there is nothing that John Gibson was able to do. These penalty killers are gassed at this point, and the Stars are able to tie it up there 1-1.
Yeah, just a ridiculous shot by a kid who has started to turn it on for the Stars this year. He's at 6 goals, which is nothing to scoff at for a 19-year-old defenseman playing in, I think, his 30th or 31st game of his career. Great shot for him. Unlucky bounce, I think, for everybody. The fact that it just ricochets like perfectly out to him. And then John Gibson is screened by about 3 or 4 players. There's a Stars player in front. Ryan Kessler is kind of stumbling all over the place trying to block the shot. He gets in the way. And then Heiskanen just picks the corner. I mean, this is a perfectly placed shot off the post and in. So, tough one for the Ducks because the Stars were starting to play really well after a great first period from Anaheim.
Yeah, no, it got the Stars right back in it because, I mean, not too long later here, the Stars would come in on a bad play, a bad read, really, by Dotchin. He pinches up in the offensive zone for the Ducks, wasn't able to collect the puck, lets the Stars break free there on a rush. It's a 2-on-1. Blake Como was able to get the feed in the crease, like on the fly. What a perfect pass. Just a perfect pass to him on that 2-on-1. The Ducks get burned. And now all of a sudden it's a 2-1 Dallas lead on this one. John Gibson not at fault again. Mahura did everything he could. I mean, the broadcast tried to say he build the wall with his skate and his knee to block it, but he threaded the needle. It was a perfect pass there.
Yeah, there really wasn't much more he could do on that. He goes down on one knee to try and block it, and it literally goes between his knee, between John Gibson's pad, perfectly threaded over to Blake Como, and if he misses that, I mean, you really don't miss those. That's a wide
I would have
net.
missed it. I would have missed it.
Yeah, I probably would have too. So I don't think you're alone on that. But it's from a guy who doesn't normally, I guess, make those types of plays. Devin Shore is the guy who picks off the pass. Usually, if you saw that type of pass, you're expecting Tyler Seguin, Radulov, Jimmy Benn, Klingberg, if he's in the lineup, somebody like that making that pass. So just a ridiculous through-the-seam pass by Devin Shore to set up Como. But yeah, you can't really blame anybody on that one. It's a ridiculous bounce again. I'm not sure who tried to close the gap at the blue line, but the puck squeaks through them and it gets out for the 2-on-1, so maybe put some blame there. But it's a tough one. It's one that if you get a 2-on-1 and you make a pass like that, it's probably going in 9 out of 10 times.
I mean, what are you going to do there? Ducks trailing now 2-1 to Dallas, and then all of a sudden, I'm sure you got the same feeling all the rest of us Ducks fans did. You get that empty, sad feeling in your stomach. You're just like, okay, really good first period, and now there's what's the excuse here, boys? Now you're down 2-1, two goals back to back. You think they're going to come back with some fire here? They don't. Radulov gets a partial breakaway. Gibby's able to make the save. We were 10 minutes in, Eddie, and the Ducks didn't have a shot on goal, and the Stars had 8 in the second period. That was tough to stomach watching this. And then Nick Ritchie with just an egregious check to the face of I think it's Fedun's face. I don't know how to say his last name, honestly.
Who cares?
He gets cross-checked in the face. It was like Ritchie was extending to protect himself on a guy, but the guy's smaller than him, so it protected himself from his face. And it looked painful to me, so it was a very much deserved 2-minute penalty there for Nick Ritchie. And then, of course, I love that the broadcast brought this up. They said that Sagan's hit like 10 posts this season.
Yeah, they also
so he hits a post on the power play.
They also said he hadn't scored. He's played 18 career games or something against the Ducks, and he hasn't scored 1 goal. And it's the only team in the league he hasn't scored a goal against. That's insane.
Man, that's hilarious.
For a guy like him.
With
18 games, 18 career games against a team, and he hasn't scored. And then again,
makes no sense.
Yeah, and it's the only team and it's the Ducks of all teams that he hasn't been able to score against. An elite goal scorer like Tyler Seguin. I couldn't believe that. And and then he hits the post. Perfect shot too. Right off
the crossbar. Yeah, that was
with no room. That was the only shot he could make, and he just barely missed it.
So, but that wouldn't be gone without a problem there for the Ducks, because the Stars power play would regroup, come back in, and Radulov with just, oh my God, man.
Talk about
what a
snipe.
Jeez. What a snipe. Top corner, far side on Gibby, bar down, essentially hit that top at the angle of the post and crossbar there. Perfect shot by Radulov, beautiful. And all of a sudden it's a 3-1 game. I remember yelling at my TV as I got up and grabbed another beer. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, can we not, if we're going to lose a game, be competitive? And in the second period, they were just, I was like, they can still come back, but don't do this. Like, they needed to get one there in the second period here, and they would. And who would it be? Andre Kase, baby. That guy has just been absolutely dynamite for Anaheim here. I mean, all the credit's got to go to Ryan Getzlaf, though.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, I know the broadcast brought it up, but I mean, clearly anybody could see. Goes to the corner, outmuscles the Dallas defender, kicks the puck to his stick, feeds a perfect pass to Andre Kase, puts it between the arm and the body of Bishop. This kid's unbelievable, man. He's destroying everybody that he plays against right now, and all of a sudden it's a 3-2 game.
Yeah, and what a play for Ryan Getzlaf to pick up his 900th career point off just a patented Ryan Getzlaf play where he outmuscles the Dallas defender down below, kicks it to his skate, and then threads a perfect pass to Andre Kase. I mean, that's prototypical Ryan Getzlaf to get his 900th career point. And then, Andre Kase, man, I mean, we just came off the play before with Radulov talking about how perfect of a shot that was, and I don't think Kase's goal necessarily beats that, but this is still a well-placed shot. I mean, Bishop was actually cheating to that side, and Kase still finds the whole short side and beats him under the blocker, which was a great play shot by him. Everything he threw a net tonight seemed like it was going in the back of the net. He was just, again, all over the place, which he pretty much has been all season. Last game, we really loud him, talked about how he was all over the place, and he was really one of the only guys generating offense, and he was getting things going. In this game, he just took it to another level and basically just said, I'm going to do it myself this game. I'm not going to pass. I'm going to put every puck I throw a net in the back of the net. And he's just an unbelievable player, which is just the more crazy the fact that he was drafted in the 7th round near the end of the draft, and now he's doing this. He gets his first career hat trick. Just ridiculous.
He's insane, and he's got 3 years on that contract. Do you know what his cap hit is?
Oh, man, I feel like it's probably below 2. Right?
It's above 2. It's 2.6.
Oh, jeez.
But that's stupid.
Yeah.
That's stupid for a guy who has probably a really good shot at hitting 20 goals again this season. That's bargain. That's a bargain contract. That's another great move there 9, for Bob Murray.
He's at 9 or 8? Is he at 8 after tonight? I think because he's only played 15 games, and either way, if he's at 9 or 8. He's going to hit 20 for sure, you would think, right? As long as he has somewhat of a decent season to finish out. He hit...
So he had a hat trick tonight. He's got 8 goals, 6 assists.
Yeah, in 15 games.
In 15 games.
So I think I'd play... It's a pretty safe bet, in my opinion, that with 50 more games, he's probably going to get at least 10 more goals and hit 20.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, he's playing lights out, man.
Yeah.
He's insane. Ducks get out of that second period with a 3-2 deficit. But honestly, I mean, they played poorly outside the penalty kill. I get it, but that power play for Dallas was not able to set up early on in the game. And then in that second period, they just did whatever they wanted. Ducks weren't able to thwart it there. That was the problem in the second. Then you get to the third period here, and this is where the Ducks just unload. This was one of the best third periods I have seen this team play in a really long time.
Yeah.
I mean, they came back and won, and it was a big, big game against the Caps. But this game was different. It seemed dominant. I felt like the Ducks were in control in the third period the entire period. They had rush after rush, getting solid shifts off the first or out the gate off the first few minutes. And then you get the same feeling, right? I felt like this game in the third period, it was just the Ducks were in control.
Yeah, it doesn't happen that often this year, where in any period. I mean, even the first, the Ducks, you didn't feel they were in control for the entire period. They outshot Dallas 15-5. It was a good period. but there were still times where Dallas looked dangerous. The Ducks just stifled them in this third period, and I felt like Dallas maybe sat back a bit. They had the 1-goal lead, so I feel like maybe just that, and that's come back to bite the Stars in the past, where they go into the third with a 1-goal lead and they kind of just think that it's going to be an easy coast to the finish. The Ducks took advantage of that, and they didn't let up until the end. I mean, the Stars pulled their goalie with 4 minutes to go, and the Ducks just continued pressure. The only good chance the Stars got was Jimmy Benn whiffing on an open net. So they were just...
Oh, that was brutal for him.
They were just dominant for this entire period. It was a great masterpiece type period for the Ducks, which we have not maybe seen all season. Like you said, I think it's up there with some of the best periods the Ducks have had.
Oh, easily one of the best. Let's get to the Ondrej Kase goal, the one that would give him the hat trick in this game. Huge shift prior to this one, and then the Ducks come out and roll again. It was a shift with, I think it was Getzlaf and Ritchie and Kase. Yeah. I mean, Ritchie got some top line time. He got a shot on net. Of course, he threw it right in the breadbasket of Bishop. Nothing dangerous, but the rebound pops out. And honestly, this puck was in and out of the net as Kase was just above the goal line, slaps at the puck. That's a seeing eye shot. I didn't know where the hell that puck was going in, man. Yeah. Bishop is scooting in, and I'm like, where did it go? And it went under his blocker, above his pad, just in the back of the net. Kase goes nuts. The crowd goes nuts here. I mean, that was amazing to see Kase get his hat trick here on home ice. What a thing of beauty for that guy, man. He worked so hard for it.
Yeah, that was the second goal. He scored short side where there seemed like there was no place to put the puck, especially this time, because literally Ben Bishop is about an inch away from hugging that post, and he leaves like a small space open. Kase not only finds that space, but somehow finds the angle from basically the bottom of the circle to throw it into the smallest piece of the net on the opposite side of the post. I mean, just I want to say a skilled effort, but he just kind of slams it on net. So I think he kind of just gets a bit lucky that he finds the hole. But when you're as hot as Ondrej Kase is lately, those pucks are going to find their way to the back of the net. I can't keep talking about how great he was tonight and just in general how he's been this season. He fully deserves to get the hat trick in this game. It's great for him to finally get his first career hat trick. We talked about the first few games when he started with the Ducks this year, how he just seemed snake bitten and he just couldn't get the puck in the back of the net, and now things just seem to be clicking for him. He's playing exactly the same way too. Don't get me wrong, he hasn't really changed anything. Things are just starting to go right for him now, and pucks are finding their way in holes they weren't really were before. So he's just finally getting some puck luck, and he's just an unbelievable player right now. Probably the Ducks' most dangerous player offensively.
Oh, he's killing it. So he gets the hat trick there. Ducks continue to pour on net. I mean, easily just in control of this game. Bishop swimming. Auberg hits a post. And then the Ducks get another goal. Brandon Montour takes advantage of an empty net thanks to Roman Polak basically toppling Ben Bishop off the top of the crease. I mean, he didn't knock him over, but he definitely shoved him aside there as the Stars got a bit twisted in their defensive zone. And there was just all day and all night for Montour to rip that into an empty net. 4-3, or sorry, at that point, 4-3 Anaheim there. They take the lead, and that makes the Ondrej Kase goal even better and bigger for him. He gets the hat trick, and then the Ducks pull ahead.
Yeah, Ben Bishop's going to be looking at this later and probably just lighting Roman Polak up. I have no idea why he decides to take that route. Nick Ritchie is just outside the crease. Ben Bishop is at the top of his crease. There's no room for anything to really squeak through there. And Roman Polak's like, I'm just gonna squeeze through here and get to the other side of the net. Ben Bishop's like, what the hell are you doing, man? And he can't get over, and then the puck just finds its way off a couple bounces to Brandon Montour. An empty net. I mean, nobody's missing that.
No, it was wide open.
Yeah, and Montour now, with this goal, and then obviously with his 4-point night, he's got 6 points in his last 2 games as well. Couple goals to go along with that, and he's starting to heat it up too, and he's taking advantage of a lot of the ice time he's being given, not only playing with Hampus Lindholm, but with Cam Fowler still out of the lineup. He's kind of taken over those lion's share of minutes, and he's run with it, especially as of late. He's looked unbelievable. That Lindholm-Montour pairing, which we criticized so heavily at the beginning of the season, has started to come alive, and it's looked pretty good. It's looked pretty good as of late. It's easily been the Ducks' best pairing. it's not saying much when you look at who's paired with who on the other pairings, but you need at least one to be dominant and at least one defender, and Brandon Montour has been, I believe, the Ducks' best defender over the last 5 to 10 games at least.
Oh, and he's just chewing up minutes too.
Yeah,
I mean, he's absolutely eating minutes every night. I mean, looking at the scorecard tonight, let's see, he played. Oh, he only played 26 and a half minutes tonight.
Yeah.
Followed by Lindholm with 24. So these guys are in every situation playing like the toughest minutes against the top competition every single night, and they're killing it right now. Hell of a game for Montour and Lindholm there. Let's get on to the fifth goal, the goal that wasn't a goal, then was a goal here. Jakob Silfverberg. Talk about another guy who's really stepped his game up here lately. Gets on a partial breakaway, getting hooked on the play, gets his feet crossed up as he goes to stop. He whiffs on the shot, and Bishop's preparing for the shot, so he whiffs on the follow-through. He's trying to pump the brakes so he doesn't run into Bishop there. Kicks the puck inadvertently, goes in the net. There's no way in hell he ever would have thought that was going to happen, in my opinion. Referee seems to think it was an intentional kick. No goal. Goes to Toronto. Toronto's like, nah, F that. It's a goal. Ducks take the 5-3 lead here. Huge goal here for the Ducks. Jakob Silfverberg, man, he's really turned the heat on as well.
I don't know how they thought that was a kicking motion to begin with. I mean, come on. The guy is sliding towards the net pretty much. And I don't think I ever saw a point where it looked like he could even be in a position to kick the puck in the back of the net. Luckily, it was so decisive as of a play to look at. There was no motion whatsoever of him kicking the puck that it was so easy to overturn. No. But it could have been if there was somewhat close to a kicking motion or something, because they called that no goal on the ice. It could have been harder to overturn. Luckily, it was literally just bouncing around his feet and goes into the back, and that probably would have been a penalty. Knowing the NHL, not a penalty shot, because they never give those out unless you're Elias Pettersson as of late, and nobody really gets them. But yeah, I mean, Jakob Silfverberg, man, we criticized him heavily after his hot start, and now he's got 4 goals in the last 4 games. He's up in that trade value. Hopefully the Ducks are going to get something good for him, because I don't think there's any way he sticks around if he keeps producing like this, just like he was producing at the beginning of the season. But it's great. The Ducks need it right now. Nonetheless, they need a guy like him to be getting on the score sheet, especially with Rakell in the lineup. It's been a great time for him to find his game again and start chipping back in with some goals.
No, it's definitely good to see him get those in there. Then the Stars pulled their goalie. I mean, almost like what Patrick Waugh used to do when he was coaching the Avalanche, right? Pulling the goalie here with 4 minutes to go, down by 2. I mean, the Ducks had 3 consecutive icings, so I guess they were like, screw it, they're tired. Let's just see what we can have happen here. Yeah. Ducks would even take more icings here. It didn't matter. Jamie Benn whiffs on an empty net on the side where Gibby was dead to rights. Weren't able to score there and bring it any closer. And then Lindholm seals the deal, my boy, there with a 200-foot shot from the corner. Buries it. It's 6-3. That's a wrap. Ducks are able to bounce back from a horrible second period and come back and get the win here, defeating the Dallas Stars 6-3, my friend. What a game, man. That was a very exciting game.
Yeah, for sure. And guess who picks up the assist on that last goal? Brandon Montour. Unbelievable night for him, and just a great night for the Ducks in general. Another big comeback, not as big as against Washington, but still a big, huge third period to come back and win this game. You were down 3-1 at one point to a pretty good team, a team that's close to the standings with the Ducks right now. So I think it was a great win, big character win, 2 wins in a row now. Kind of 2 crazy games as well. The New Jersey game was just ridiculous. This was kind of up there and at least being an exciting game, because you had that really, really boring game in Carolina. That was just a snooze fest. And now you get New Jersey's game a couple days ago, and then you get this game. Great way to end the homestand and 2 exciting games. Hopefully it bodes well for a 6-game road trip that the Ducks are going to be on right now. But I'm just happy they're scoring goals, to be honest. I mean, this is all they really needed to do. The goaltending was there. The defense was starting to step up and get a little bit better. Dotchin actually surprisingly has come up and played pretty well. He's been reliable. And Josh Mahura, we were all sad when he got sent back down, but he was recalled before the game tonight, and he ended up playing. So he's looked pretty good playing with Dotchin as well. And Jakob Larsson's actually looked okay. He's looked okay with Josh Manson. He hasn't made a ton of mistakes. So if the goals are here to stay, the Ducks could finally start turning this thing around. But it's going to be tough. It doesn't get easy when you go on the road now. You got to face Pittsburgh. You got to face Buffalo, who've been surprisingly good. You've got to go into New York, Boston. It's Columbus as well. It's not going to be easy.
It's going to be a tough one, man. And that's a lot of games on the road before Christmas. And, those boys at the end are going to be looking to get back home with families and all that. So that's going to be a tough roadie there just before the holiday break. But we got to get to the post game. We don't have a ton of questions because Ducks are kicking it right now and on a streak and rolling. And, no one's upset. I mean, I'm surprisingly just a bucket of positivity tonight coming into the podcast, which is a change for me. I have nothing to complain about here. But the Ducks made some moves, and it was unfortunate as to why they had to make a couple of them. But let's get to the first one. Adam Cracknell comes to Anaheim, and the Ducks send Steve Oleski to Toronto. Kind of like a whatever, I feel like. And then the Ducks acquire goaltender Jeff Glass for future considerations. I don't know.
Going to probably amount to money at some point and nothing else. I don't.
That's it.
Yeah.
They're just bolstering the AHL lineup at that point with another goaltender. And Adam Cracknell comes in here to San Diego after he bought snow tires, as he said that some buyer's remorse there. But what'd you make of this deal? Did you really? I mean, I kind of nothinged it, honestly. I didn't really see any value go either way that's going to move a needle.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to move a needle. It was kind of a weird one for both AHL teams. I mean, right now you would have to look at San Diego and think that where they're loaded right now is with talent up front. When you look at the young Ducks players down there, and Terry and Steele and Lindestrom and Max Jones, and the list goes on for the guys that are down there and playing well. And the defense was kind of short because you have Jacob Larson up here, you have Josh Mahura up, you have Dotchin up. They just called up Suster, who I think was scratched tonight as well. So you've got all these guys up there. To trade away a defenseman was a little bit interesting, but Cracknell's played pretty good with the Marlies. He had 10 points in 14 games. So if you're looking to add some more scoring and add maybe a physical presence to protect some of those rookies down there, then Adam Cracknell's your guy. But it's not, like you said, it's not going to move the needle for the NHL teams, for the Leafs or the Ducks, and it's not a massive trade for the Gulls or the Marlies either. And Jeff Glass coming over was just so that the Ducks had some AHL cover. I think it had maybe a little bit to do with Ryan Miller going down with injury.
Probably.
And then also Jared Coro just not playing too well. And Kevin Boyle's a starter down there, but now you've got Jeff Glass who can come in and maybe be a decent backup and help out Jared Coro, who's struggled. But yeah, I think that last one, some of it has to definitely do with Ryan Miller.
Let's talk about that. So I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, Ryan Miller likely out 6 weeks or longer. It was 4 to 6, but that injury didn't look good. I mean, you saw right away Taylor Hall waving for the trainer to come out on the ice, as we discussed in the last show.
Yeah,
Miller out. And then we saw the Ducks recalled. They called Coro up, right? They left Boyle down, and for good reason. You got to keep the goals competitive.
Yeah,
you can't take their starting guy out of net. You got to bring somebody up to back them up. So everyone's thinking, okay, cool. Now we got Coro, who's not going to play unless Gibby gets hurt. Please, God, don't let that happen. Knock on wood. Don't even say it. But everyone's a little like, okay, whatever. That's what's going on. And then I saw on Twitter that Chad Johnson got waived by the St. Louis Blues. And lo and behold, Bargain Bob Murray just reached his little blue light special handout of Walmart and plucked up Chad Johnson and brought him to Anaheim. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
But he's a terrible goaltender.
Yeah.
He's awful.
But
he's been awful.
What do you like? I feel like this decision was probably made, or they probably didn't know they were going to for sure get him when they went and got Jeff Glass. And I think Jeff Glass was covered for possibly having to have Jared Coro as a backup for the next 6 weeks in Anaheim. And have to maybe go with that. And then they see, oh, Chad Johnson's on waivers. We'll put in a waiver claim. We'll see if he ends up falling to us, if nobody else claims him. And I think they get a bit lucky in that, because I would rather, as bad as Chad Johnson has been this year, he's not really a great goaltender. I would still rather have him backing up John Gibson and playing the odd game than I would rather have Jared Coro starting and playing a game.
I mean, so he goes .920 save percentage in 2015, 2016, and 45 games with Buffalo. goes to Calgary and has a 910 save percentage, plays 36 games, goes to the playoffs. Actually played one game that year. Goes back to Buffalo in 2017-2018, plays 36 games, an 891 save percentage.
They were bad, though.
Okay. Goes to St. Louis this year, and I know St. Louis is having a crap year, but to have an 884 1980s goaltender save percentage in today's NHL, that's not even a quality backup.
No.
I
But
know he's not a long-term solution here. I know he's not going to get the games. I know this is like an insurance policy in case the worst possible situation happens with John Gibson in the crease.
Don't even say
I'm
that.
just saying. That's why Bobby brought him here. But he's a terrible goaltender. I mean, Chad Johnson is not a great goaltender.
But who would you rather have?
Yeah.
Who would you rather have backing up? And let's say even in the back-to-back we have against Pittsburgh and the Rangers, who would you rather have? No, but between the two, Chad Johnson or Jared Coro, who would you rather have start that game? I think an easy answer for me is Chad Johnson.
I mean, Guy Bear.
Yeah.
Let's just throw that out.
Yeah, why not? Sub him in there.
Yeah, you got to put Chad in. Did you see Ocho Cinco from the NFL pop in and comment? I thought that was pretty funny.
I think he did that after
he got waived. He said thank you. Then he got picked up with the Ducks, and he was like thanks. Like he was.
Yeah.
He's
done that before in the past, I think, too. Anytime something happens to Chad Johnson, it is funny. Yeah. I mean, who would you rather have in net, Chad Johnson or Ocho Cinco?
Oh, that's a close one.
Yeah.
That's a close one.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Chad Johnson of the NFL is a superstar, or was. Chad Johnson in NHL has always been a career backup. Sure, he has. I mean, behind this Ducks defense, there's positive opportunities for him for sure. But just I don't think that's an answer in giving the Ducks a chance to win night in, night out if he has to. So hopefully it doesn't come to that.
How many games is he going to play, though? Right? Like 6 weeks?
I mean...
In December, the Ducks only have one back-to-back. I don't know how many they have in January, but Miller should then be back by the end of January? Middle or end of January?
Let's go worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. We have to talk about it.
Yeah,
worst case scenario.
Okay.
Miller's out the rest of the year. Chad Johnson, John Gibson. Gibby's not going to play another 50 games. He's not going to. He's not playing 50 more straight games.
Well, no, definitely.
You're going to see
Those
Chad
back-to-backs, yeah.
Then Chad's going to play like 20 games.
No way he plays 20 games.
Maybe 15 of the remaining 50.
Well, let's see. I want to actually figure out how many back-to-backs they have in general. Then I'll get a good idea of like the base number that he would have to play because I don't think... You
can't play Gibby, Freddie, Anderson minutes. You don't want to do that.
But I don't think... I mean, the Ducks are probably going to be fighting for a playoff spot. That's. I don't think they're going to be in a comfortable position where 10 games left, they're secured. I don't think that's going to happen. So you have to kind of look at what the back-to-backs are going to be. And they have one in December. They have, let's see, one in January. They have... two in February, and another one in March, 2 in March, and 3 in March. Okay, so they've got
like six
back-to-backs, and then maybe
you
throw
think
in
Chad Johnson's going to play 6 games?
No, and then maybe throw in a couple other starts when Gibby needs rest here and there. So I think 4 starts. So he gets maybe 10 for the rest of the season. If you're trying to make the playoffs, you got to ride. What you're going to play Chad Johnson 20 out of 30 games if you're trying to make.
He's
the playoffs?
not playing 20, but I think he's going to play about 15 games. And this is worst case scenario.
Yeah,
I think Miller would play those games.
15 on the high end. I would say 10 to 15. I think he plays at least 10. 15 would be high on my end. 12.
He's in charge of 20 to 30 points on the Ducks season. You're saying?
Worst case, yeah.
That's scary. That's some scary stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, we fully expect. I think we fully expect Ryan Miller to come back in at least 6 weeks.
That's a dangerous injury at his age to come back.
No, it is.
But that's a brutal injury. I shouldn't say dangerous. Brutal.
No,
it's a brutal injury.
It is. But I mean, even some of the best teams, Tampa Bay, Louis Dominguez played better as of late. I think he was second star of the week, but I don't think it's necessarily all because of him. It's because of the team he's playing in front of. And maybe Chad Johnson playing behind the Ducks defense, and I know they haven't been great this year, but maybe they're starting to pick things up. Things are looking a little bit better. Maybe he goes back to what he was like in Calgary or even in Buffalo. If he puts up 9-10 save percentage in those 10 to 15 games, the Ducks win some of those games. They probably win at least half of those games.
Yeah. I mean,
if he puts up 884, then they probably lose most of them. But I don't think
they probably lose all of them.
Yeah,
there's no question. There's no question at that point.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. He's a step down from Miller for sure. Step up from Jared Coro, but at this point, the best the Ducks could do with the situation they're in. You're not going to go out and trade pieces you need or assets that you could use for a backup goaltender when you fully expect Ryan Miller to come back in 6 weeks.
Yeah. No, I understand.
If he goes down, maybe at the deadline you go get a backup if Chad Johnson is playing like crap.
Gordon Bombay in chat says on Spreaker, calling Angus Redmond. I don't know if that's the answer either, but I understand that he doesn't trust Chad Johnson.
Yeah, I would still give Chad Johnson. I think maybe the only guy in the Ducks organization I'd give a chance over Chad Johnson at this point is I would like to see Kevin Boyle get a chance to play. But the goal, like you said, the goals need him right now. They need Kevin Boyle down there to be somewhat competitive. So that's why the Ducks went out and made these two moves to get Jeff Glass and Chad Johnson, and so they had some cover while they're waiting for Ryan Miller to come back. And maybe they're worried just like you are that it could be at this point in his career more than 6 weeks. Could be longer. Could be a lot longer. We don't really know. We'll have to find out whenever he gets reevaluated, which is probably going to be after Christmas, and we'll kind of have to go from there.
Yep. So that is the happenings on the roster. I got to ask you a couple questions here about Ryan Getzlaf. So clearly he's not Teemu Selanne, Paul Kariya-esque, but when it comes to talking about Ryan Getzlaf, they made mention in the broadcast that he's the highest point getter of that highly, highly touted 2003 draft class. He's sitting at 900 points now.
Did he pass Eric Staal?
Is he? Yeah, I think he did. Let's see. I mean, this is coming out of John Aller's mouth, which came out of probably
That's what I'm wondering. Because
some associate producer's mouth who looked it up on the internet.
So they could be wrong.
Eric Staal. Hockey reference. Dialing this up right here. No, he is behind Eric Staal by 43 points. You're correct.
Come on, John Allers. What are we doing?
Damn you, John Allers, for giving me wrong information. And how dare I not do my homework there? How dare I slight the second round or the second overall pick in that 2003 draft with Eric Staal? But when you talk about a guy like Ryan Getzlaf, is he not just instant Hall of Famer to you material?
Yeah, he's going to easily pass 1,000 points by the time he's done. Probably what? Like he's 33 now. How many seasons do you think Ryan Getzlaf has left?
Probably 6.
6?
5 or 6.
Yeah, and then at close to a point per game, probably 3. Maybe 4, because I think he's like a Joe Thornton type in a way, maybe as long as he doesn't get the same injuries that Joe Thornton has, where he'll still be a good player, no matter him being slower than most of the guys in the league, right? He's slower than what the pace of the play is now, but it doesn't matter for Ryan Getzlaf because he's just that skilled of a player. So, if he puts up 60 points next year, 60 points after that, 60 points after that, it's 180 right there. He's already then he's over 1,000, and by the time he's done, I think he probably sits around 12 to 1,300 points if he plays another 6 seasons. And for me, that's easy Hall of Famer. I think even right now, again, he's won a Stanley Cup, didn't captain them to a Stanley Cup, but he's won a Stanley Cup, and they like to take into consideration everything. So you look at Olympics as well, and I think it's just an easy choice for me. And likely he'll probably stick around in Anaheim for his entire career. I would assume they would re-sign him when his contract's up at the end of 2021, 2022. So I think definitely it's an easy first ballot Hall of Famer for me.
Yeah, I think so too. He's definitely first ballot. He's got the Olympic golds. He's got the All-Star Game appearances. He's got the Stanley Cup. He's led the team in assists time and time again. He doesn't have the individual hardware, which a lot of people would like to pop up and say that that's what indicates, a phenomenal, world-class player.
It's tough,
but that's a tough ask. I mean, but when you're talking about his overall numbers, I mean, it's hard to say that he's not in that same echelon, right? He's right there. He's not a Sidney Crosby, but he's outside the conversation when he was in his prime. When Getzlaf's in his prime, he's outside that conversation, but not too far behind, right? He's not a 100-point guy. He come up in the 90s once in his career, but very dominant player in his own right. And, I mean, he's the best type of hockey player, in my opinion, as a power forward.
Would you say the same thing, then, about Eric Staal? Do you think he's a first-ballot Hall of Famer if he finishes around 1,300 points when he's done his career?
I mean, how do you deny that guy?
Yeah.
I don't think you can. I think
he's
you're going to
underrated.
see a lot of guys.
I think he's
underrated or overrated.
At this point in his career, I think Eric Staal is underrated because when he was in Carolina, he was tearing it up. Then when he got traded to the Rangers, didn't do much. Then he goes to Minnesota and has a 60-point, 30-goal season. Just comes back out of nowhere, and then nobody, people look at that, whatever. Has a great season next year in Minnesota. He's having a pretty good, last time I checked, he had 20 points, 25 games this year. That's not a bad season for him. He's probably going to finish 60 points again. Nobody's really looking at him. And
he's probably going to hit 1,000 points in his career, too. He's at 395 goals.
Yeah.
Or more than that now, sorry. He's got more than that now. But, I mean, end of last season at 395. He's got the gold medals, too. The Olympic gold medal in 2010.
He's got a Stanley Cup as a captain, too, I think. Maybe? No. I think Brindamore was on that team, so probably not.
Yeah, it was Brindamore. It was Rod the Bod. The Bod had that.
But he was still a big piece of that team. I think more of a piece than Ryan Getzlaf was when the Ducks won the Cup. I think at the time, I'm pretty sure Eric Staal was still tearing it up for Carolina when they won the Cup, and he was a big piece of their run. Not to say that Ryan Getzlaf did play a big role in it, but when you look at who played the biggest roles in getting the Ducks where they are in 07, Ryan Getzlaf, I don't think, is in your top three. I think you could argue that maybe Eric Staal would be in Carolina's top three when they won the Cup.
So, yeah, he has 406 goals, 537 assists, 943 points. I mean, if he keeps scoring at the clip he's scoring at, I mean, if he plays long enough, there's a possibility he's able to get to 500 goals, and that automatically solidifies you there. He'd be in that club, 1,000 games, 500 goals, 1,000 points, Olympic gold, and Stanley Cup. Yeah, in my opinion, he's a first-ballot Hall of Famer as well.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he's going to get in.
A lot of guys from that year are going to get in. It was an insane draft year.
I mean, even Ryan Kessler was in that draft year. Ryan Kessler, Corey Perry.
Well, slow down here. I'm
not calling him for the Hall. That's another
Thomas
conversation.
Vanek.
I don't think he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. So, nor does he deserve to be. He's not that echelon of player. But you got other guys in there too. I mean, Jeff Carter, Dustin Brown, Brent Seabrook, Zach Parise, Brent Burns, Mike Richards. The list goes on. There's so many players. And that was like one of the last times you got to see a goaltender selected first overall, right?
Yeah,
with Marc-Andre Fleury.
There's nothing wrong with Marc-Andre Fleury, but there's a reason goaltenders get drafted the highest late first round, early second round now. Just it's too much of a crapshoot. And the crazy thing is, I don't want to dive into a whole. I'm just going to mention it real quick here. I think me and Jason talked about this last year, maybe, or I think might have been on Puck-Guys when we were doing that. We talked about Marc-Andre Fleury's numbers when he got drafted were not great. They were just above, I think, 900 save percentage, or at some point below. And then he went number one. Obviously, I was too young at the time to have watched Junior in the QMJHL and really watch him. But then you look at a guy like Carter Hart, who got drafted in the second round, and he was putting at like 930 save percentage and winning like 30 games in a 40-game played season. And he gets drafted in the second round. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know what put Marc-Andre Fleury above some of the guys he got drafted in front of. I mean, we're talking about the guys like Eric Staal and Ryan Getzlaf and Corey Perry and Jeff Carter and all these guys in that draft. And Marc-Andre Fleury is the guy who goes number one. Had a great career, great player, but
he's had a great
crazy,
career, for sure.
Just insane.
So, do you have anything else you want to touch on here? We didn't really have any questions in the comments other than I think we had one. It was a Sierra asked who we would have a beer with, current Duck or past. I'll let you go first.
I feel like Timo it's like the cop-out answer, but like Timo would just be a great guy to sit down and talk with, whatever. Get a free meal at his restaurant, have a beer with him. Why not? That'd be an easy choice.
I mean, honestly, after listening to Spit and Chicklets, I'd probably just say Ryan Whitney.
Okay.
All the ridiculous
very
stories
short
that guy
time Anaheim Duck. You went way off the board there.
I mean that, or I would want to. I would love to talk to Stu Grimson, honestly, or George Peros.
Stanislav Chistov.
Ugh, no, jeez, no, not one of those guys. No, I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
Just hate Russians.
Yeah, mostly. Mostly, I don't like the Ruskies. Yeah, that's very true. Very true. Do we have any other questions anywhere else? I mean, it's a light night considering the Ducks lit it up.
Yeah, we didn't get many questions. I mean, a lot happened. Obviously, we already talked about Kase's first career hat trick, Getzlaf's 900th point, Brendan Montour with the 6 points in his last 2 games. So it's kind of been an action-packed night, but I think that's pretty much it. Other than the news that Miller's out 46 weeks, we didn't touch on Rakell. I guess we can talk about that. They just said he's out indefinitely with an ankle sprain,
right?
Which is
not good.
No idea. So I would assume he probably sits out this road trip. I don't think they would.
Oh, well, yeah. I think he's done till next year, like next 2019 January. Yeah. I think it's a long term, probably high ankle sprain. Those are never good.
I think it's probably about the same time that Ryan Miller is going to be out, about 46 weeks from when it happened. So I think he comes back at earliest, probably beginning of the second week of January. I would think he'd be around there at the earliest, and then latest probably the end of January. I couldn't see it going much farther than that unless it got worse or wasn't healing correctly. But yeah, it's a tough blow. But I wish we had more news on it because I don't think they don't really have. I don't think they really know when he's going to come back.
They don't.
Yeah, they probably have like a tentative timeline, but it would be so ridiculous to put it out there to say like, 2 to 8 weeks. What's the point of putting that out there? You just confuse people. So if it goes
1 to 2 months, okay.
Yeah, if it goes well, he'll come back sooner. If it doesn't heal correctly and it takes longer and he can't get out skating soon enough, then it's gonna be later. I think as much as I'd love to know, I think that's what they're kind of dealing with at this point.
No, that's true. So let's get to our show sponsor, CoolHockey.com. I think we need to rep them more often. I mean, right now, they have all over the place on that site. They have an overtime sale. If you purchase right now, it's $50 off site-wide at CoolHockey.com. Overtime 50 is the code there. Guarantees arrival by December 24th. But you could also use our promo code FM20 to get 20% off your purchase of a jersey there at Cool Hockey. So highly recommend going there, using that promo code FM20. That's good anytime, not just Christmas time. That's good all the time here. And then, if you haven't already been paying attention to the Forever Mighty 3 Stars, check those out. We give away a free jersey every single month thanks to Cool Hockey. So all you got to do is guess right. And it's not as easy as it sounds, but it gives everyone a fighting chance to get a free jersey of your choice. So you can go and get your new William Nylander jersey if you're a Toronto fan. You can go and get your Andre Kase jersey if you're a Ducks fan, like all of us here. But you can get whatever you want. They're a great company, and they've been very, very kind to us and with sponsoring the show. So shout out to them. And then also our Patreon. Patreon people, we finally were able to get a hold of Buffalo Bottlecraft, who is amazing. Put up good products. They've been very busy at the winter season here for Christmas as well. But the bottle opener pucks are on their way. I'm told they'll be at my house on Tuesday of next week, which means you people on the other parts of the world that order them will probably not get them by Christmas time. I am very sorry about that.
So you lied to them.
I didn't think it was going to take this long to get here. I didn't mean to lie, but they will be at my house. They'll be shipped. Unfortunately, I got to send one to Australia, which is really far. And so, Josh, I'm sorry it's not going to get there for you in time. And
they are beautiful, though.
Yeah, they look very good. They even said that they're going to be pretty, so I appreciate that from from Chris at Buffalo Bottlecraft saying our logo's pretty. But yeah, they're on their way. And if you want to be a part of that, you can go to our Patreon and check us out there. You can donate to one of our tiers. The top tier, you get a free puck. We got plenty of them coming, so if you want to go ahead and sign up for that, we'll get you one.
You know what we haven't done in a while with Patreon? We haven't given our shout-outs to our new patrons, which is...
We have a couple of new ones in December.
Yeah, I feel bad, because I think it's part of our whole gig here that we're supposed to be giving shout-outs.
Got to give them a shout-out, yeah. Way to bury us there.
I know, right? Well, now I got to load it up. Now I'm behind the ball here. I know today...
Matthew Yacono signed up.
Yes.
He's a new pledge for $10 tier. That's awesome. Thank you, Matt, for signing up there. So I know that he's one of the ones that we haven't given a shout out to. And then Shane Austin signed up along with Keith Settles. Those are the newest Patreon members that I don't think we were able to give a shout out to, but shout out to them for joining and helping us out there on Patreon. We very much appreciate you guys.
Yeah, I'll go through because I'm not sure if we had these people. Robert Swenty, I'm not sure if we shouted out to him, but he's one of our $3 patrons. Brian Duncan pledged $1, which we still appreciate. It was great for him. And longtime patron Tom Vincent upped from 5 to 10. So now he gets access to the puck bottle openers that were mentioned and the Pucks and Brews show, which is coming sometime this month, which is always my favorite show to do, even though
to not drink.
Even though last time I did not have time to go to the beer store to get anything, so that one didn't turn out great for me. But at least 2 out of 3 people were involved, so it was still you could still classify in majority as Pucks and Brews, so it wasn't too bad.
No, we'll definitely have that coming up. We have a top 10 show coming up this week, and probably the Rant show this weekend at some point. We have to try to find a way to get 2 shows this week, 1 show next, and then 1 during Christmas break, so we can lock in those 4 bonus shows for the Patreon people. But we're running here a little long, so we'll cut this out here. The Ducks take the victory 6-3 over Dallas. You guys know where to find us: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Forever Mighty. Check us out there. Give us a follow, and we'll talk to you guys. Oh, Saturday. We're not sure if we're doing a show Saturday or not. Everyone's tied up with holiday crap, but we're going to figure it out. It's either going to be Saturday, maybe it'll be a show Sunday morning. If you guys are in Orange County, come out to Lamppost Pizza where we did our last watch party. Chip from K-Rock is hosting her own podcast party there and inviting everybody to come over and have pizza and watch the Ducks play the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'll be there for some time, and so will Jay. But if Eddie, if you're available, we can do a show. If not, we'll do the show Sunday. So we'll figure that out and let you guys know. Have a great night.
Thanks for ruining my show, by the way. That's it. I'm sorry you guys had to sit through that, but this is an obligation, contract obligation, they told me. So my kneecaps are sweating and I really got to go to the bathroom. So I'm going to have to let you guys go. Thank you. Bye.